Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I am your host, Saheem the Dream. If you are catching us live, waiting on my co-host, J Mac Main, to come on and bring the pain, he's going to be joining us in a few moments. If you guys are catching us live right now, drop a comment in the comment section below. If you guys are catching the replay, drop a comment in the comment section below. Going to begin to talk about some things, a few topics being the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Backlash predictions, expectations, and also, what was the third one? I don't know. It'll come back to me. But anyway, let's talk some wrestling. So, if you guys are joining me right now, later on, catching this replay, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment in the comment section below, and join in on the discussion of wrestling talks and thoughts. Just waiting for my host to come back in, my co-host to come in, J Mac Main. Should be in. There you go, right there. He's right there. J Mac Main.
Yo.
What's good, man?
What up? What up?
Yes, we have some things to discuss. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Yes, sir. I am a little bit excited for tomorrow.
Really?
Pay-per-views tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Kind of trying to. I'm just kind of like. Well, so you're not excited at all? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's okay. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to boost up Puerto Rico, and um, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to make it a big event. I mean, the matches aren't bad. What now is shocking is that every Puerto Rican that's on the roster actually has a match, except for Carol Gonzalez Rodriguez. I wonder how she feels about that.
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Mhm.
Oh, man. Well,
Even Zelina Vega has a match.
she's not. I'm gonna be honest with you. The ones that I like, some of the performers they have that they could build, Latin performers. They could build like Karen Cross. Like Karen Cross is one. He's one performer that has a lot of potential, but
Hmm.
his in ring work is blah. Like I just
Yeah.
like watching his match on SmackDown against
Shinsuke.
Shinsuke Nakamura. We all know Shinsuke Nakamura is a in ring general. Like he's great at selling moves, and he can give you a great match. We've seen him give
Mhm.
us great matches with the likes of AJ Styles and other performers. But AJ Styles being one that comes to mind first. That comes to mind because of that feud. But it's just like watching his match with Shinsuke Nakamura is black. Like Karen Cross doesn't have a great move set. Like, he doesn't do
You know.
anything that like dazzles me at all. Like kind of like woos me or makes me want to buy more into his character at all.
Right.
He still needs more work. He still needs more development. I think he should have stayed in NXT a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I wasn't a big fan of his NXT. Like, like he had a couple matches. Then they threw him in the title picture. He beat um uh Keith Lee. I'm
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying? Really? Then he gets hurt, so he has to relinquish the belt. Then he comes back and beats Finn for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's not a build for him.
I felt like they had great expectations for him. I felt like after he had beaten Finn for the belt, didn't he
Hmm.
get injured again? And then after he got injured, he went to the main roster, right? Or he just kept the belt and then they brought him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought him up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he won him as champion. That's when they made him into Demolition 3.0.
and they buried him with
Yeah,
Jeff Hardy, who didn't even stay Like I guess like after he beat Karrion Kross, he even stayed like 5 months, 4 months or something like that, 4 or 5 months. Like he
But
left
but, but the
2 months.
wild part about it, he beats Jeff Hardy beats him, but then he beats somebody the next week, and I'm like, how do? And it should have been in reverse. He should have beat Jeff and the person I forgot who he feuded with after the week after, but he ended up
Right,
winning. I'm like, that's the person he should have lost to and beat Jeff. But
right,
who am I?
yeah. That was apparently Vince McMahon's terrible call at the time. Oh, Vinny Mac, Vinny,
One of many.
one of many. Speaking of Vince McMahon, there's been a rumor that Vince McMahon's ideas have now been scoffed at in creative. So when Vince McMahon brings up ideas or creative ideas among the board, uh, or in the meetings, they scoff at him. Like they're like, like
Yeah,
Vince.
because it's like all right, because at that time, saying when you have they probably felt it that way then, but he was the he was in charge, so it's like saying, hey, that's a bad idea, but who's gonna tell Vince it is? You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right.
So it's like all right, well,
Right.
it's a bad idea, but hey, it's Vince, he's gonna do it anyway. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now that Triple H is in charge, head of creative, Vince has an idea now. They can be like, no, that's dumb. I don't like that, or that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
A la Sasha and Naomi fighting in a fatal 4-way match that
Right.
didn't make sense.
Why? And they held the belts
So
on. They held on to the belts like what, 3-4 months?
right then they were saying they wasn't gonna defend the belts for another 3 months after that. Like it was weird. Even though the tag titles now is not getting as much. I mean, it's getting a little shine. It's changing hands and stuff, but.
Yeah. I mean, it is getting some shine. Um. So I mean, that is true. Him being that guy in the room, being the owner of the company, he's the boss. You can shoot down his ideas, and then in the next 2 weeks you get fired, or you get buried on a roster.
Right.
Or Vince McMahon, comes up with an idea, like he underhandedly buries you. He's like, I got a great idea for your character. We'll put you in a gimp outfit and we'll call you the Renegade. Yeah. And then you'll run in the ring and you'll win a couple of matches and we'll work towards you being heavyweight championship material. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, after you've been booed and nobody buys into your character, he's like, this, I don't think you're getting over with the crowd. I think you need more work. I think you need to go back. And, he blames you for his crappy idea not getting over with the crowd. But that was one of Vince McMahon's faults. Like he never wanted to accept that he was wrong. He never wanted to accept that he was wrong about, even with Roman. Like even as
Right.
much of a Roman fan as I was, knowing that the fans wasn't really buying into his promo work, because Roman has gotten a lot better with his promo work, even though he's not at top level, but he's gotten a lot better. And
Mhm.
knowing how the crowd was booing him, I knew the crowd was booing him because again, his character wasn't selling. He was just too quiet on the mic. He was great in the ring, but he was quiet on the mic. He didn't have a persona that sold. He had enough
Right.
charisma, and the fans are every bit of right. They were right about not accepting him. I seen the potential in him, but
Mhm.
some other people did as well. But it was just like they're like, no, give it to us now. So, but Vince didn't want to be wrong about Roman. He kept putting him in main
So
events and shoving him down everybody's throat.
speaking of questionable booking, what are your thoughts on the women's titles, which is the SmackDown Women's title and a Raw Women's title, being defended yesterday against competitors that we know is not going to win
On SmackDown,
on both?
on SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah, because you got Rhea versus Zelina, really, and then you got Dakota versus no, not Io versus Bianca.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? The thing is, okay, so my thoughts on them defending their titles, knowing that they're not going to win.
No, that they are going to win, And then I
No,
was right. I mean, because think about it. Looking at it, there's no way you're gonna say and believe that. I don't care if it's in Puerto Rico. I don't care if it was in Zelina's house. You
right,
know what I'm saying? There's no
right,
way that you think that Zelina is gonna
right,
beat Rhea. That's number one.
right.
Then, secondly, you don't think uh, Io is gonna beat Bianca. Now, Rhea is already scheduled to fight, defend the title against Becky on Raw Monday.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So they kind of like teased that already.
So my thoughts on that are plainly this. I like it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because even though I mean, if Io Shirai went against Bianca Belair, I would want Bianca Belair to win. If Rhea Ripley went against Zelina Vega at this course in WWE, I would want Rhea Ripley to win. Knowing that they're not going to win is in some retrospect, it's sort of like a good thing, right? Because when they do decide to choose someone to take the belts off of them, you never know when it's going to happen. It's going to be unexpected. It's going to be a good pop. It's going to be a good build. And right now, what they're doing is they're pretty much in a lines or in a place of building strong and formidable champions you could believe in, champions you could root for. um Not having these fly by night champions as we've had um since the likes of Hogan, right? So that really brings me to a deeper place. Answering that question, I guess I'll go deeper. But really, they like it because right now we're seeing how long Austin Theory, I believe, is going on 200 and something days holding the belt.
Hmm.
He's creeping up on a year. Gunther is almost going past the year. I believe he has maybe 2 more months and he'll be past the year.
Right.
Bianca Belair is past the year now. She's 396 days as champion,
Yeah,
right?
she said. Yeah, she said. Once at midnight tomorrow, she'll be the longest reigning Raw champion. Now, me and my boy was talking to this pose a
Mhm.
question.
Yeah,
Do they do the title swap like Charlotte and Becky did a couple years ago? And if they do that,
right.
is Bianca still declared the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, or does she just like the longest? But she can't be the longest reigning SmackDown champion because one, she would just have gotten it, and
Right.
two, that belongs to Bailey right now. So
Okay, so my all right, I say it like this, right? I can answer this question, but my question is, what do you think? Do you think they should?
um, it makes sense because the Raw Women's Champion is on SmackDown. I mean, I, no, I think they should leave it how it is, and at some
Mm.
point when they do lose it, when Bianca does lose it, she'll challenge somebody from Raw who would actually beat her and bring it back to Raw. And same thing with Zelina. I mean, Rhea, somebody from SmackDown. It could be SummerSlam or something like that. Somebody from SmackDown challenges Rhea, beats her, and takes it back to SmackDown. Let them do it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So therefore, she'll like Bianca be the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown, and
Right.
Rhea will be the SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw. So I think they should leave it like that because it gives a weird but interesting dynamic to it.
It does. It really does because it's like you have the women's champion, the Raw Women's Champion on the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown and the SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw. It's an
Right.
odd blend. Yeah, and it's kind of it is out of whack, but it still shows that hey, um, just because you're drafted does not mean you have to relinquish your championship. Your championship is your championship. You're going to hold on to it until someone comes along and beats you for it.
Right.
And the other thing about that is that to me it was more so like when the New Day and Street Profits when they exchanged titles, I felt like they shouldn't have done that because it interfered with their title reigns. It
Right.
it
Yep.
literally stopped their title reigns, and then they had to continue a new one. And then so all that time that the Street Profits could have had being close to like I think it was like maybe almost close to a year if they would have held on to the titles, it would have been longer. They would have had a longer title reign. You know what I mean? It just interfered with
Hmm.
Their reign is like on the bright side, they got to hold both championships. That's the bright side. Like they've held the SmackDown and Raw championships. But then on the on the other side, it's like on the flip side, it was just like, but y'all stopped y'all reign. Y'all could have had a longer reign. So, I mean, either way, it's not a lose situation. It's a win-win situation because if they swap titles, they'll both have another title reign from each promotion each again,
Right.
and it'll add another championship reign to their resume. But for Bianca, it would cut in line. It would stop. I mean, she's held both titles. This is her
Okay.
first time holding a Raw title, so it will cut in between her reign, and her reign is going strong. So it was like, don't even stop your. Like, I wouldn't even do it with Bianca. She'll have a lot to lose. I mean, she can gain another title reign, another SmackDown title reign, but it's just like, why stop her reign?
Right.
Just to hold the Raw, I mean the SmackDown belt again, and then say, "Oh, you were 3 time SmackDown Women's Champion." It's like,
So
okay,
now, do you now as far as the tag titles, do you keep them unified or do you break them up? Like you have Sammy and KO lose the SmackDown tag titles and keep the Raw tag titles. But then if you do that, how many times are we going to see? Well, then again, now you got the OC there, so I guess they can fight for the belts too. But I'm
yeah,
sure you're going to see it count numerous times the Usos versus the Street Profits.
right,
so,
right,
so
right. I went. See, the thing is, that takes me a little deeper because for one, um, to answer your question, do you break up the titles? Yes, you do. You
okay.
allow them to challenge for the titles. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I'm not like ecstatic for. Truth be told, I would have preferred the Street Profits and Cody Rhodes. I mean, let me not say that Street Profits and Cody Rhodes because that no, for the storyline's sake. It made sense that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, took the tag titles off of the Usos, and I get it. But I feel like their fanfare is not going to live very long. I believe there's going to be some fans that's going to rally behind them, but for real, for what it's really worth, it was really for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to really take the titles off of Roman. So they couldn't do that. So they took the titles off the Usos, and it's like they had to settle
Right.
for that. So they have that. But to answer your question, I would definitely split up the titles. But to go
Okay.
on to this, I segue back into Mania. I felt like that was the problem. The problem was that it had to be for both titles, and it didn't have to be that way. They didn't have to make it that way. They could have finagled them. They could have it could have did like a contract signing on SmackDown the night before, right? Roman
Hmm.
and the Usos did like a contract signing where they all sign where Cody signs the contract for Mania, the Usos sign a contract for Mania, right? Then they fight for the
Hmm.
title, right? The Usos lose the belts, right? Roman lose the Universal titles, right? Next night on Raw, Paul Heyman, the Advocate, comes out and says, you know, and say like when they were doing the contract signing, they got into like a brawl, right? They got to a little brawl or whatever, and then after the
Hmm.
brawl, they just signed the contract, so they never really read the contracts, right? Next night
Hmm.
on Raw, Paul Heyman comes out and he's like, while you guys were so busy focusing on, getting your hands on, the bloodline, you guys forgot to read the fine print that these matches were not for the Universal titles, but for one title. And then he's
Right.
like, so therefore, he calls out Cody, he calls out, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and tells them that they have to relinquish, that Cody Rhodes has to relinquish the Universal title, and that the
Hmm.
Usos, and that Kevin had to relinquish, I believe it's either the SmackDown Heavyweight Championship, because I forgot which one they were running the longest with, but whichever one they were running the shortest with, they would give up. And
Well, for Roman, it would be
World
the
Heavyweight,
world title because he was the
right?
Universal type champion for a while. Yeah, so it would be the
Yeah,
world champion.
right. So with the Usos, I don't know which one. I think it was the SmackDown Championship.
They got the SmackDowns first, yeah, and then that's when they went after uh RK Bro and got the
Right.
Raw tag
Okay.
title.
Right. You're right. So Raw. So right. So they will relinquish the Raw titles, and then in them relinquishing the Raw titles. Yeah, so it's like their legendary reign. So it's like even though they lost, they still keep the
Verification.
legendary reign intact. And then
Right.
they can run that all the way up to SummerSlam and then start making decisions. Do we take the belt off for Roman, or do we allow him to reign over 1,000 days and then see what we want to do? Because then you have Cody as the world heavyweight champion on Monday Night Raw. You still got Roman Reigns doing his legendary reign. You still have the Usos with their tag team championships still doing their legendary reign. And then you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with their titles. Everybody's happy, everybody's happy. But at the same time, I understand why they didn't do that, because they felt like if everybody's happy, where does that leave Roman for his next competitor? It doesn't leave him with anybody, because we all know that when it comes to that World Heavyweight Championship, Cody's not. I mean, I would guess that Cody shouldn't win it, because he should be still pursuing Roman, because that story needs to continue to play out. We want to see that happen.
Right. But I feel like, I mean, like I said, I know we were talking offline a couple weeks back, and at first, me like everybody else wanted, even yourself wanted Cody to win the belt. You know what I'm saying? Dethrone Roman and this and the other. But when you made a valid point on an article you was reading, and you stated that if Cody would have won, he really didn't earn it. He earned it, but he didn't earn it.
Right.
It would have been more so of all right, yeah, you won the Royal Rumble, so you earned the opportunity, but where was your struggle? Where was the what's the word I'm looking for? Where was the controversy,
adversity.
the great adversity, right? What was the adversity? Where was the accused edge word? Where's the grit? Like, where did you really grind to, really put work in to get the belt? You know what I'm saying? Like, you had what? You had a couple matches, but you had two pay-per-view matches against Seth. You got hurt during the second one, and then then you're out. You come back, win the Royal Rumble, and all of a sudden you win the belt. So that makes sense. And with that note, with that being said, okay, he won the belt at Mania. Now he fights Brock Lesnar for the Universal titles at Backlash. That doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It does a little bit, because then it's like, okay, well, Brock can't fight Roman, so now only way that Brock gets a title shot is Roman doesn't have the belts no more. So now Cody has the belt. So now they could have been fighting for the belt, which would have been cool. I guess that would have made sense as well.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, Cody has to, as Vince said with Sean, the boyhood dream. He needs that boyhood dream. Like, he needs to really look back and like, yo, like, I lost at WrestleMania. I had to fight my way to get back here. And yes, and then he can really have that crying moment, like, yo, I did it. And Ant would hate it, but Brandy would definitely storm the ring at that point. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about the dog, but Brandy would definitely, have to jump over the barricade with their daughter, and be in the ring celebrating with him.
Yeah, I think I should have known something was up when Cody was about to cry when he was hugging his daughter, and it was so confusing because you didn't know whether that was tears of joy or tears of sorrow, because he knew he was not winning that night.
Right.
At WrestleMania. Right. To kind of, I just wanted to say that as a side note, but to lean into what you were saying about Cody not finishing the story, and and him not earning the title. It's very true. It's because even though, and it's weird because even though we wanted Cody, for popular fanfare, we wanted Cody to win the belt. As much as the fans would have liked it, they still kind of would have resented him for it, because it was like, yeah, we know you had your tenure in WWE, you went over, you started AEW, now you're coming back as the prodigal son, the prodigal hero. But however, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. My connection. Yeah, but guys that have been grinding it out while you were gone, and these guys who've been here, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, all these guys who've been keeping the storyline, fueling, and you know what I'm saying, like, and just making sure that we have entertainment value, these guys deserve more of a shot than you do.
Right.
And now him coming back is like, okay, what would be the thing that would make us believe that he deserves to skip the line? And that would be ultimately, pretty much just to have him go through the ranks, go through the fight, formidable opponents like Brock Lesnar, fight Seth Rollins, fight other opponents. Whereas we look at him and say, okay, you know what? He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic. He stood the test of time. His character stood the test of time. It's okay if he can take the belt. So that in itself would definitely help. The big bad booty daddy. You didn't know it's coming. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. This game. You know it's coming.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
What up?
Man?
So I kind of want to switch gears because now that Ant's here, I want to get, because I noticed it when it happened and Ant brought it up. So I was the only one thinking it. So as far as the draft, we saw a lot of there were a lot of picks. There were a lot of shocking
question
picks,
marks. A lot of question
marks. People that weren't drafted, who we thought were going to be drafted, like Cora Jade, Braun Breaker or Carmelo. But I realized they're not doing it because Carmelo and Braun still has that feud that they got going on. But the questionable pick that me and Ant kind of homed in on, why was Trish Stratus drafted to Raw?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is she full time? It's like a part timer doesn't get drafted. A part timer is a free agent like Brock and Omos and Von Wagner. I don't know why, but yeah.
So I mean, I'm gonna let you answer that in a minute, Sal. But also, it was funny because Cameron Grimes and Corbin they was backstage and they was talking to Adam Pearce, and Corbin was like, why are you talking to him? Like wasn't he the last pick of the draft? And so Cameron Grimes was like, well, you didn't even get drafted, so
yeah, that's gonna be a good feud.
But everybody knew comes in feuds with Baron Corbin, ironically. So
yeah, that's true too. That's definitely true too.
Yeah. He didn't even get drafted.
He did. He's a free agent.
And he's not even on the free agents list, I don't think. I've seen that list. It's like Von, Omos, Brock, Cedric, and Shelton. He's
there. Now the weird one, Apollo Crews is listed as a free agent, but he was drafted to Raw. So I don't know if
yeah, that's what happened. He got drafted, then he got released.
He's like,
he's the first wrestler. He's the first wrestler to get released. I've never seen this ever.
Oh, wait, so he was drafted to Raw, then he was marked as a free agent?
Yeah, released. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that the thing is that they need drafts. People who are, who will be home stays for each brand, but they do need free agents. They need guys that can go back and forth to each brand. I think, but my thing is, I feel like the way they've played the free agent card, they needed to mix it up more. They need to give the free agent card to people who are like AJ Styles, Seth Rollins,
Seth's shouldn't be it. Well, I mean,
but not Seth, but just in the sense of like Bobby Lashley, like people who are of a bigger caliber or greater entertainment value, where you want to see them kind of move back and forth and give them that kind of like carte blanche to kind of move back and forth, and not and have some guys who can go back and forth. I feel like it would add something a little bit different.
But if you think
the whole draft.
Right, but if you think about it, all the free agents are mid-carders. Dolph Ziggler, Ali, Omos, Apollo Crews, Von Wagner,
Corbin, and
who else? Corbin, yeah, like like they're all mid carders. Like nobody is like a heavyweight competitor that's is a free agent. Well, except for Brock.
Yeah. So I mean, so in other words, being a free agent can either be beneficial in Brock's case because he can go wherever he want and do whatever he want and challenge any competitor for any title, and then on the other hand,
except for Roman,
except for Roman, right? And then
we know he's not. We know he's not going to SmackDown,
right? And on the other hand, being a free agent means that you're just going to be jobbing out on
pretty
Raw
much.
SmackDown.
I'm calling it right now. Brock's going to be Seth's first opponent.
Brock,
when Seth wins the
world title.
Here is another questionable move that when I saw it, I questioned it, and Sean and was talking about it. Sean and Henry was talking about it all day in the group. So the world title is exclusively to Raw. You know what I'm saying? Since Roman is on SmackDown.
Okay.
So you got two triple threat matches on Raw. And the two winners fight each other. You know what I'm saying? The two winners of the triple threat matches fight each other at the end of Raw at the main event. But now you got two triple threat matches on SmackDown, and those two winners fight at the end of the night. So the winner of the SmackDown, the SmackDown match and the Raw match fight at Night of the Champions. Why is SmackDown even included in this if that title is going to be exclusively to Raw? So you're going to have somebody on SmackDown win it and move to Raw? Or you're going to have all three belts on SmackDown, which defeats the whole purpose of bringing the
belt. Right. I think more than likely that's going to be the case. I think that's the case. The case is to give that same opportunity to those people that are on SmackDown.
No, your opportunity is to fight Roman.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I mean, Roman done ran through the whole roster, so who's left? Baron Corbin?
Well, I mean, only people that right now I can think of that he's going to be able to fight within, because he's probably going to fight once every 3 months. So only people he's probably going to fight is AJ, Bobby at some point,
Riddle.
Now Riddle's on Raw.
Right?
Yeah, Riddle's on Raw. So yeah, that's the only new faces. I mean, they're not going to have him fight Cameron Grimes. Like you said, Karrion Kross isn't built up strong enough to even
he just legit. He just looked bad tonight against Shinsuke too. They made him look bad against Shinsuke.
Yeah, pretty much everybody that was going to Raw lost.
I wouldn't say they made him look bad. I would say that Karrion Kross always looked bad in the ring, and Shinsuke, him being compared to Shinsuke, looked bad in the ring. Like you talked about it earlier. You know, Karrion Kross, that's the thing. Karrion Kross has a look. He has potential in his look. But what it's so funny because Karrion Kross is like a polar opposite to Roman, right? Like what Roman has, Karrion Kross doesn't have, and what Karrion Kross doesn't have, Roman has. Like Roman is great in the ring, but not that great on the mic. Karrion Kross is pretty decent on the mic, but not that good in the ring. Like his in-ring skills are like blah. Like, I mean, a back body drop is one of your finishing moves.
Suplex.
Yeah, suplex. Like even when he doesn't even do the bull hammer as good as Wade Barrett. Like it's just like it just looks like a regular punch. I mean, come on, man.
Like a Japanese snap suplex, like what Muda used to use.
But it don't even look that good though.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't look as good as Muda's.
Right. Whatchamacallit, Muda did it. Shawn Michaels used to do it before he did the super kick. He used to do that, the snap back body drop or back suplex. That was that was his finisher before he did the sweet chin music. So it's like, come on, man. Listen. I think Karrion Kross needs a lot of work. But back to this whole SmackDown thing. I mean, this whole World Heavyweight Championship thing. I think Seth Rollins is going to win it ultimately. Whoever he fights from SmackDown and whoever he fights from SmackDown is whoever he fights. I think he's going to win it.
Cody. You know, it's going to be him and Cody, the main event of Raw.
I don't think it should be. I don't think Cody should be involved.
He's going to be involved because he's going to beat Brock, and he's going to be on a high horse. And
he has to be involved. What's next to him after Brock?
Because if he is involved, okay, I say this: if he is involved in the triple threat match, right? Say he's involved in a triple threat match, and say he's about to win, they should have Brock come out beat him up, right? Cause him to lose the match, continue the feud with him and Brock, so that way they can get another match out of him and Brock, right? Then whoever fights Seth goes on to fight Seth. Seth, of course, wins. Then they can steer the ship back to Cody and Roman, so that way Roman can lose those belts at SummerSlam.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't feel Seth doesn't need the belt, honestly. Like I feel like it should be somebody else. And I say that because yeah, Seth has a amazing theme song. He has the crowd singing it for 12 plus minutes. You got people in London on the train singing the song. Now it'll be crazy if Seth and Shinsuke fights and it's still on Raw and the crowd go back and forth singing their songs. That'd be crazy. But
that would be fine.
I feel like it should be somebody else that wins that title. Somebody new. Like I threw out the name Finn, but then you don't. But Finn was the first Universal Champion, so you don't want you. So I don't know. Like if I feel like it should be somebody different.
Shinsuke is on Raw now.
I mean, yeah. I can see like a Shinsuke now. Do they have faith in Shinsuke? Is remains to be seen. But yeah, I want to see somebody different. I don't want to see Seth.
I feel like they got faith in Shinsuke because he's getting confident in his English right now. If you've seen him on Raw, he cut a promo. How many times you see Shinsuke cut a promo? He's getting real confident. Real confident.
I mean, like even like even JD McDonough, like he's new. It's just I doubt they're gonna push him like that. But I would.
Yeah, but they're gonna put him in Judgment Day. You know that. Yeah, but they're gonna put him in Judgment Day.
Well, the rumor is they want what's his name during Judgment Day? What's his Conor McGregor?
It only makes sense for JD though because JD is the protege of Shinsuke. Finn. My fault. He's a protege of Finn.
They want Conor McGregor.
Wait, you said Conor McGregor to join Judgment Day?
That's the rumor. That is the rumor.
I want Vince McMahon to die now. I'm sorry.
Oh God. No.
That's the only way we can give it a Vince. I don't wish death upon nobody but God. Please, if you forgive me for one, just take him and then forgive me.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, like honestly, like because sometimes, like sometimes it's a good thing when you have celebrities join the roster and they give us these one-off matches and stuff like that, and you have people from outside sports come in and they do a little thing, they 1-2 here and there, but it's like sometimes when they include them, they give them too much of a big opportunity to where it interferes with the storyline that's already happening, like where we're expecting something better out of the performers or expecting more of an opportunity out of the performers that are already on a roster. And I feel like it interferes sometimes. And I know, Conor McGregor come into the picture, they're gonna give him like a title shot or something.
When's their next big show out of the country outside of Night of Champions?
I think. Hold on, let me see. To go back to Roman's challenges. So to go back to Roman's challenges.
Roman, watch.
So Roman had. So these are the people who can legitimately like fight Roman for the belt, or he can be a competitor. So you have we said Bobby and AJ. You got Edge, who's probably gonna try to go after the Universal titles again. Outside of that, you have Sheamus. Ray may decide he wants to go after it again. We said Karrion Kross is not ready. LA Knight, if they build him up in a couple months, he could be okay. These
are people who could be competitors or people who can be the person that can hold that World Heavyweight Championship.
Those people that Roman can actually fight. I mean, have a match against that he hasn't beaten already. That's on SmackDown now.
Yeah, it would definitely be, in my opinion.
But outside of Edge,
it would have to be AJ. At this point,
and Lashley.
And Lashley, right? And Lashley. No, absolutely. What was I going to say? When it comes to the World Heavyweight Championship, not to segue, but when it comes to the World Heavyweight Championship, the only other person I do agree with you because I wanted to say this. I do agree with you. I really don't. Honestly, I don't care to see Seth with the belt. Truth be told, I don't. I'm not like, oh yeah, I got to see Seth with the belt. Like, if he wins, great. If he doesn't, whatever. I don't honestly want to see somebody else with the belt. I personally want to see Finn Balor with the belt.
Because honestly, as I'm looking at the Raw draft picks, you have Cody, you have Imperium, you have Riddle, you have Drew McIntyre, who's going to be out for a while. You have The Miz, you have Shinsuke, you have Dexter Lumis, JD McDonough, the Viking. Well, I'm not going to say the Viking Raiders. Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the Judgment Day.
It's not going to be Seth.
The New Day.
Where did Kevin
Owens and Ricochet?
Where did Sami and Kevin get drafted to?
They're on Raw.
You know what? It's not going to be Seth. It's not
going
to
be Ricochet, Bronson Reed.
Hold on a second. It's not going to be Seth. I'm going to tell you why it's not going to be Seth, because Seth was he was the first inaugural NXT champion. Seth was the first inaugural NXT champion. Finn was the first Universal champion. So they might give that first. They might give it to Austin Theory.
But he's on Smack unless he loses the belt and goes to Raw.
They might give it to him because remember he was Vince McMahon's pick for the World Heavyweight Championship. They might give it to him.
He's got to go to Raw.
Yeah, I mean they could trade somebody over there.
They're talking about, but they're talking about Randy coming back to feud with Theory.
If Theory wins that belt, you would never be able to shut him up. I promise you.
Or I mean, he beat Cena. You can't shut him up now.
Right, but you give him. He's an inaugural heavyweight champion.
Yeah. His next feud is supposed to be against Randy because they're supposed to do some shit where they supposed to put him as like a legend. He's gonna call himself like the new legend killer, and they saying that's where him and Randy's gonna start their feud from.
Really, Randy and
yeah,
and they really trying to build Theory up.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if they're going to put him over Randy, though. I don't know if they're going to bring Randy back to take the United States title from him, or they're just going to build Theory up to Theory being what they think Vince McMahon thought he was. I mean, I'm here for it. I want Theory to be the best he can be. I'm a Theory supporter. I stand behind Theory. I told people that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I stand behind Theory. I told people that. Don't get on this Theory train now when it starts running. I said that months ago. I said, listen, Austin Theory's that guy. Do not get on that train when it starts running. The train is leaving the tracks now. Austin Theory's the MVP, man. I'm telling you. That guy is on TV every week putting on bangers and bangers and bangers, and nobody talks about him, bro.
Facts.
Every week, yo. He's the best. He's the hardest working champion in wrestling. I don't care what promotion you put him on. You compare him with anybody, any champion from any promotion, I'll put him against your best champion. That guy is on TV every week.
Facts. But was he on Raw?
Yes. Every week, main event on Raw. It's not every other week.
When did he fight on? I didn't even see him on Raw.
Who?
Yeah.
Theory
was the main champ. He was the main champion.
Yeah, Theory's only champion because Roman had both belts on SmackDown. So
no. No, I mean this Raw. This Raw that came.
Oh no, he didn't fight this week.
No.
Yeah, because I ain't seen him like the last. I ain't seen him like the last 2 weeks.
He deserves a break.
Yeah.
He's on TV every week, bro. He's on TV every week, and this goes back. This goes back to when his first U.S. title reign, when he was feuding before Finn turned heel. Nobody was talking about the matches he was putting on with Finn before Finn turned heel.
Yeah. No, nobody was.
He put on bangers, bro.
But that's how it is, though.
And I'm telling people, yo, Austin Theory. Now everybody want to be Austin Theory. I've been telling them. Everybody thought I was wrong. You wrong about Theory. You wrong about Theory. All right. Am I gonna be wrong? I told y'all he was gonna win Money in the Bank. Nobody believed me. I said, yo, 2024 is the year of Theory. Watch. He's main event in WrestleMania next year. Him and Gunther. Watch.
I could definitely see Gunther doing it. Gunther's about to go on a year with that IC title.
Theory's gonna be a babyface next year. I'm calling right now. He's gonna be a babyface next year. Him and Gunther is main event in WrestleMania 40.
That also depends on who they bring in by then. If nobody else comes in around that time, because the year 2024, all these top AEW free agents. You know what I'm saying? So it more so depends on who's signed, who's available, and who's on the roster at that time.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, so y'all think Seth is gonna win this belt? I mean, it just seems like
I think he's destined to win it, son.
You said what?
He's destined to win it. You gotta put it on him now while he's hot. You're gonna wait for. That's what happened with his last title reign. Yeah, waited until he cooled down, and then his title reign was mediocre when it really wasn't. Besides that Hell in a Cell match with the Fiend, but listen, we can all get past that. But listen, you gotta put it on him. Steph's been hot for what? Since what year was that when he main evented the Rumble against Roman? 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Like he's been hot.
Rumble?
You gotta put when he main evented against Roman at the Rumble, when he came out to the Shield at music.
Remember? That was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
What was that, 21?
No, it was about 2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago.
He's been hot since then, bro. And then y'all messed that package up because it was a no contest, and then y'all just stepped away from the story.
Yeah, they stepped away. They definitely pulled back from that story, and that was a good story they could have played on.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to do it because they had to pull back because they know that Seth was going to get too much babyface heat. They didn't want to do that.
And then if you peep in like the last couple of Seth promos, he mentioned that Roman still never beat me. He mentioned that when he was making his last promo with when Triple H announced the belt when he came out. He mentioned Roman never beat me. He's right.
Yeah, he is.
Seth is 4-0 against Roman, bro.
Yeah, he's definitely destined to win that belt. He definitely should win it. Either way, it's like if he gets it, good. If he doesn't, whatever. But once he gets the belt, people gonna want him to hold on to it for a very long time. I think. Maybe not long, but he's gonna hold on to it for a while until somebody takes the belt from him. I think, and that person may be like somebody like Gunther, or somebody in the likes of maybe Theory. Who is it? Pop's review says, "Hey, Wrestling Talks, love the channel and hope all is well, sir." Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pop Reviews, for joining us. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
That subscribe button, my friend. Appreciate the comment. Appreciate you joining us. Yeah, man. I think when it comes to Seth Rollins, I think he should. I mean, he's hot. That's true. He's hot right now. They should definitely put it on him because we do need a big face. We have a big heel. We had a big heel for the last almost 3 years. Now we need a big face. And being the face of the company is a whole different type of energy. It's a whole different type of vibe. You become like you are now the next Hogan, the next Cena, the next Austin. That's different. That's different.
It's true.
Can Seth handle that? Can Seth be the new face? Because Seth wouldn't be a face. He would be more of an anti-hero.
But the thing with Seth is, and this happens with every time you put the belt on Seth, he becomes forced. You know what I'm saying? And that's when his stock kind of dies down. The Intercontinental champion, when he was IC champ, everybody was feeling him. He was hyped. But the minute he got that World Heavyweight Champion, the heavyweight title, or the Universal title, it was Seth is champ. But after that, fans was like, all right, I'm tired of seeing him. Let's move on.
Right. You know what? That's an excellent point. That's
that's every time he's had the title, because and I mean, now did it lead? Was it because of poor booking? Probably. Because you had him fighting Baron Corbin, and then him and Baron Corbin's in a mixed tag with Lacey Evans and Becky. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was more so bad booking because you really had no real legit competitors for him. But at the same time, it's like Ant said, he's hot right now, but if you put the belt on him and he becomes stale and boring, now all that moment. He goes back to the drawing board, and now he's trying to build himself back up.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, no, that's very true. And I think that's one of the things I wanted to point out too, was that when Seth Rollins got that universal title, it was like he had the belt, but it was like that energy that we were looking for, that we got from Hogan, that we got from Austin, that we got from The Rock, that we got from Triple H, that we got it was like certain guys who held the belt and we was like, he's the man. I didn't get that from Seth. I was like, yo, he's a great in-ring performer. He's great at he's talented, but it's just like Seth just is the same thing I got from Seth is the same thing I got from Drew McIntyre, and that's this. He looks the part, he acts the part, but he's not the part. Like, he's good enough just to fill in for whoever the person may be. Like, he's just a fill-in, like he's a substitute. Like, he's like a substitute teacher. Like, you have your teachers and then you guys are substitute teachers. Whatchamacallit is that kind of person.
Let me ask you something, son. Since you mentioned Drew McIntyre, right, with all the stuff that's going on with him, I hope he got time because this might take up some time. But all the stuff that's going on with him with his contract, right? How to keep this scenario, you two, man. How would you feel him using that? Signing back, of course. Of course he's gonna sign back. But how do you feel about him using that, but out on a heel run though?
He needs to turn heel. Because he needs to turn heel because if you think about it, first off, you have Seth and you have Cody as the top baby faces. So you really don't have no heels on SmackDown outside of the Judgment Day. So you need a strong, dominant heel, on SmackDown, on Raw, just to kind of even things out because everybody's baby faces.
All right, now with that, do you have, because Drew at the heel, we already know with the Scottish Warrior, that's fire. But do you put the belt? You got to put the belt on a heel Drew, and then with Roman as champ, you gonna have two heel champions.
It's happened before.
Well, it definitely has happened. Pop's review says charisma is missing. I'm sorry, charisma is the missing ingredient with a lot of these guys. That is true. They don't like that's and to go back to what Ant says, real quick. That's the thing about Austin Theory. It's not forced. Like when Austin Theory picks up the mic and he talks, it's a flow. Like it's easy. This guy Austin Theory is like 24 years old. He reminds me of a young Randy Orton, but with just more personality though. Randy Orton was a lot more athletic in the ring. Well, not athletic, but Randy Orton had a better moveset, I would say, in the ring. But as far as just like how they come across, just how they were young, they were confident, they were sure of themselves, or they just had, it was like when they were given an angle, or not given an angle, but when they were given the mic and they had something to say against a competitor, they sold it. Like there was no breaking in that personality. Like they just gave it to you. There was no lack of character. And it's like, that's what I see in Austin. Like Austin Theory has it. Like it's just natural. Like it just flows out of him without a problem. Back thing. Well, what were we talking about before that? I'm sorry.
The heel, Drew is the heel, and using that.
Oh, Drew. I'm sorry.
Using that contract thing as his gimmick, like, oh, y'all didn't want me here and stuff like that. And
yeah, you know what? That would be a great gimmick. Honestly, when I heard about him leaving, and I heard there was rumors like he may be leaving, he may be signing. I think he's going to sign back because it wouldn't make sense for him not to sign back because they're under a better creative direction, and then not only are they under a better creative direction, it'll be beneficial for his character, and he's getting paid more money. But for what?
Like you said, creative direction for him, because if you think about it, the last couple of months he's been tag teaming he's been in a tag tournament with Sheamus, and he's been chasing the IC title. So they really haven't had nothing to do with him. You know what I'm saying? He's been like lost in the shuffle.
Right. Well, what I was getting to was just how him, to answer what Ant was saying, how him using this whole contract thing to turn heel, how it would be beneficial for him, because I think Drew was better as a heel. Being a Scottish psychopath, And him being a heel or him being an anti-hero. Him not being full blown, rally behind me, let's go, let's go forward troops, let's go, let's charge it. He's not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like he's not the leader. Like he's the guy that's like, I have an agenda, but I help the people get to what they need to go, but I still have an agenda. He's more of an anti-hero or a hero. He works better that way.
He needs to get rid of that stupid countdown before the Claymore. Like I don't know whose idea was to add that. They should have told Leo Drew. No,
I thought it was pretty dope because of Claymore. Claymore is like a C4. It counts down.
Yeah, you a Goldberg fan. Of course, you thought that was dope.
Oh, you don't like it?
You a Goldberg fan?
It's a Claymore. The Claymore. Claymore's a bomb. It counts down.
No, it don't. A Claymore is like a mine. You put it in the ground and you step on it, you blow up. Yeah. I don't know. There's no countdown to it. The countdown is when you walk into it.
What's the point of the countdown to it if it's in the ground? Hide it. There's no need for a countdown.
Right. Let me look this up. They have Claymores with timers, like C4.
C4 is different. A bomb is a different. Claymore is in the ground, and it's the dumbest countdown. Like, yeah, no. He should be the Scottish psychopath, not the Scottish warrior. That was the dumbest name too. Like, I don't know. WWE is questionable with a lot of stuff.
Oh, let me see this.
Backlash comes on tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So they talking about that Bad Bunny and Priest might main event.
It's gonna have to.
Yo, he got a crazy pop tonight on SmackDown.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I like the ramp. The ramp, it reminds me of SummerSlam. I'm getting a little SummerSlam vibe.
It does give you SummerSlam. Yeah, SummerSlam vibe, and it's so small you can't have pyro like that. So the pyro got to be on the ring, above the ring. But yeah, it does give. I mean, so I was telling Sai earlier, like, so
okay, you're right. Claymore's in the ground.
Yeah. So apparently all of the Puerto Rican wrestlers on the roster has a match tomorrow except Raquel Rodriguez and Los Lotharios. But Los Lotharios don't count. Raquel Rodriguez should be on the card because of the fact that she's the tag champ. So I mean, I feel like Bayley and Dakota should be fighting them on tomorrow, not on Raw. No, I'm sorry, not next week on SmackDown. They should be fighting them tomorrow.
The country don't got love for her, and they know it, and that's why they're not putting her on TV. After that Trump shit, she said.
Who?
I mean,
Michelle
came
Rodriguez
out today.
Yeah.
What did she say? You know what she said?
I forgot what it was, but she stands behind Trump though.
Yeah.
And no telling what they will be chanting in Spanish to her out there on ringside. I'm telling you.
Word.
I'm telling you, if Bad Bunny loses tomorrow, they better have the National Guard outside that arena, bro.
You said Bad Bunny lose?
Yes, they better have the National Guard. I'm telling you, it's gonna be like a soccer game when they lose. I'm telling you.
What's gonna happen is Priest is gonna. You're saying Priest. Of course, Priest should dominate because he's the actual. I mean, truth be told, Priest is Puerto Rican too. So if he wins at the same time, it's like a win-win. But what's gonna happen is Priest is gonna dominate, and Bad Bunny gets the upper hand, and then the Judgment Day is gonna come out. Then LWO is gonna come out, and they're gonna give Priest they're gonna give Bad Bunny the upper hand since it's a street fight, and that's how Bad Bunny's gonna win.
Has to pop out.
Yeah, Bad Bunny. We know.
Rey Mysterio is Mexican though.
Pop out though. It's just Latino world order.
So they got the LWO armbands. I was like, looking like a real gang out there.
Yo, speaking of LWO, right? I don't know if y'all been peeping up with the dirt sheets, right? I don't know if y'all follow Chavo Guerrero on social media.
You feel the type of way?
I know what you're talking about.
He's been going off, and he's been quiet for years. And ever since his LWO shit popped back up, he's just been coming out the woodwork.
Well, he's upset about it?
Yeah, he thinks that Ray is using Eddie's name to make money, and he's like the Guerrero family is not making no money off of that. He's like Ray's just using Eddie's name.
But Ray was in the LWO with Eddie, the original. So you know what I'm saying? Just like Juventud was in it. So it's like Ray was an original member.
Ray
so
was
that's
the original
it's
member,
okay. Yeah. So it's okay. It's not wrong for Ray to bring it back.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Chavo was
saying?
pissed. I guess he felt like he's not a
Chavo's
part of
mad.
it or something.
Yeah, right. I'm about to say Chavo's mad because he didn't get the invite, but
Chavo mad because nobody really cared about him as a wrestler. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much
about Chavo.
Chavo was a black sheep of the Guerrero family. Every time you see him,
like, oh,
Chavo.
right. Chavo was he was the Randy Jackson of the bunch.
You know how I know they didn't respect Chavo? I was watching an old episode of SmackDown, and they had a costume party, and Chavo had like on a sombrero. They was like, "Yo, who you supposed to be?" He was like, "Oh, I'm Chavo Guerrero in the hat." Like, yo,
right? Oh my God, what?
I'm like, yo, they got no respect for this man.
No respect. They
at all.
They say, yo, what you supposed to be, Chavo? He's like, I'm a Mexican man in a hat. And it was like, I'm like, oh, they can't get more racist than this
at all.
Word. Pops Review says, I think it's sad when these celebrity wrestlers are a lot better than the roster. He also said, laugh out loud, nobody cared about Chavo. Right? Nobody cared about Chavo. Like, Chavo.
That's something, right? Ever since, because I'm sorry I'm late today, but ever since WWE signed with that UFC, the company that owns UFC, I don't find it weird now. Like, ever since then, that Conor is teasing a match with him and Roman. So I'm asking, like, y'all don't see more of this happening now? Like, more UFC fighters stepping over to get that WWE money?
Of course. I mean, because it makes it more appealing, and that now it's like it's in their backyard, so now it's more feasible. Like, all right, well, I don't have to step out of my element or do something that I'm not comfortable with because it's still where I am. You know what I'm saying? That's like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like if NFL brought XFL, you know what I'm saying? Like NFL players won't go into because they know it's not sponsored by, NFL. If they get hurt, it's on them. But if NFL sponsors, hey, I can go down there all season and show, you know what I'm saying, showcase my skills or, play, have a little fun. So I think it's in the same realm. Like, like with it being owned by UFC, it's like it's easier. It's more accessible. Like, all right, well, now I can do it because it makes more sense.
How you feel about that shit, Don?
Nah, you know what? I'm not here for it at all. I'm gonna tell you why. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna put too much attention on the UFC fighters, like they did Ronda Rousey. And some of them may have, like you got Conor McGregor. He got the swag, so he'll come on and he'll be entertaining. But then you got some like Ronda Rousey who come in and is just like, yo, you got no charisma at all. I mean, you're an excellent fighter. I tip my hat to you. You were great in a UFC in what you did, but as far as you being an entertainer, you're not entertaining at all. You don't have
Ronda,
the charisma to sell.
What don't you like about Ronda?
Uh-oh. This is Now, if Sean was on here, Sean to give you a whole rundown. Like we wouldn't even have time for Sean to go through everything you don't like about Ronda.
Well, I'm not even. Well, I ain't gonna go on. I'm not gonna go the whole thing, but I just leave it as she doesn't have any charisma. She's not. I'll leave it at two things. She doesn't have any charisma. She's not great in the ring.
But she's
not a great wrestler.
Bully.
Her matches are boring.
Bullies don't have charisma.
Shayna has charisma.
Shayna has charisma. Brock has charisma.
Yeah, Brock is
Vince McMahon has charisma.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. Vince McMahon don't got no damn charisma. He's out there grabbing.
Come on. Vince had charisma. Remember he used to come out when he was in ECW with the do-rag on? Tell me that's not charisma.
That's racist.
He had the do-rag, remember?
It ain't that hard to be. You don't got to be creative to be racist.
He used to come out with the little bop. He'd be like,
come on. Everybody seemed to forgive Vince for saying the N-word on TV, bro.
I ain't forget it. But he I mean he said my nigga. He ain't say my nigger. You know what I'm saying? And then he was talking to John Cena, and he didn't mean it. He was racist about it. He was trying to use it as a term of endearment, like how we use it as a term of endearment. Even though we would have looked at him like, nah, whatever black card privileges you had have now been revoked.
Benny Mac.
But nonetheless, I'm just saying, when it comes to the UFC, it's just like they're going to take too many opportunities for the performance or the top performers on the roster, and that's what I don't want. And yeah, it's going to be great money for them. They're going to make great money. They're going to make more money in WWE than they would in the UFC. But being that they're now been, they're collaborative, they're now under one umbrella, their money might be a little bit lower. Because remember, like with WWE, it was just them. They were their own entity, separate from the UFC. Now that they're in partnership, they, the $100,000 or the $500,000 they probably would have got for a match, they'll probably get 350, 250, 100,000. They probably get, a few $100,000 less. So
yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so they still be working for the same people, truth be told. But honestly, I don't want to see that. I don't. Conor McGregor, whatever, is like, yeah, he's gonna come in. In my mind, like when Conor McGregor comes in, or if any other celebrity come in, is like, yeah, we know you're part of the circus. We know you're part of the entertainment value. You're just gonna come in, you're gonna entertain us for a little bit, and you're gonna disappear. And it's like, okay, all right, do your little shtick, and then leave. I really just look at the guys who are there day to day, who are entertaining us on the roster. When are they going to get their turn?
But you can't. But then you can't say that, because you look at guys like we were saying the same thing about Logan Paul. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Logan Paul's been putting out bangers. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? We said the same about Pat McAfee. Well, we didn't say about Pat McAfee, but look what Pat McAfee's been doing.
So Pop Review says, hopefully I'm saying this or pronouncing it correctly. He said Chael Sonnen would have been great. So I'm assuming he's a UFC fighter.
And what's the other black guy?
Francis Engel and Engel. UFC.
Now the one who refereed.
He's talking about the one that just won. He's talking about Israel or something like that.
Oh, Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
Adesanya. Now he has charisma.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ready for the WWE.
And then right. And the other thing is like when they come in as UFC fighters, right? They're gonna have to book them stronger than everybody on the roster. Why? Because they're legitimate fighters who've won.
And then you got to think about it too, son.
Not necessarily true.
A lot of the WWE audience don't watch UFC. Y'all gotta forget now. We're in a different era of WWE fans.
Right.
A lot of them are teenagers or kids now. You go to shows now, all you see is an arena full of kids now.
Right. Look at it like this too. Like Shayna's not really booked. I mean, she started off strong, but now she's booked as a regular chick. Who else is another one? Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville is booked as regular talent. You know what I'm saying? So just because even Riddle isn't booked as strong as she should have been being from USC.
Oh, speaking of Riddle and Shayna,
Riddle and Sonya Deville didn't win titles. Shayna Baszler and Riddle didn't win titles. Rhea, whatchamacallit? What's that girl name again?
Sonya.
Raquel. Oh, Raquel.
No, not Raquel.
Sonya Deville.
Ronda Rousey won a title.
Okay.
Sonya Deville didn't win a title either. Brock Lesnar won a title. So people who won legitimate titles, they're gonna have to put a title on because these guys were the real deal. So like,
I don't mean nothing.
No, it means a whole It means a whole lot. That's like Mike Tyson coming from boxing, who's been like, a world champion, world renowned, well known, and then he comes to WWE, and now he has to be a jobber. Like,
no, I'm I'm not saying be a dropper, but
sorry,
but you gotta look at it like this. They're going into different realms. They're not. So these guys aren't going into a boxing ring. Mike Tyson is going into a wrestling ring. So that this is not a boxing world. It's not a UFC. It's not an octagon. They're going into a different element.
Yo,
you know what
I'm saying? So it's not. But here's the thing though. That's the reason why, like the same, like with Kurt Angle, right? One thing I didn't understand when I was young, but I understood when I got older, was Kurt Angle. When Kurt Angle came in, he wrestled for about like a few months. Then he won the European title. Then like maybe like a month later, he won the Intercontinental title.
And you know what I didn't like about that though, son, doing that run? Not to cut you off, right? A lot of those matches, when he was going on that run, he jobbed to a lot of people. A lot of people don't.
No, he did, but what I understood was, I'm gonna tell you what I understood. What I understood was, it was like after he lost those two mid card titles, I think it was like maybe like a year, like not even a year. He fought The Rock and won the World Heavyweight Championship.
He did everything in 12 months. He did all that in 12 months.
Right. But it made sense. You know why? Because he was an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah. I didn't understand that then.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because he was the real deal. This guy went out and competed legitimately in that field in fighting. You know what I'm saying?
So you think that made him a better heel? You think that made him a better heel? Because back then a lot of people didn't know about Olympic wrestling. And you just bring this guy in, and he's better than everybody. Everybody thinks WWE is number one over everything. And you just bring this guy in from mat wrestling, and then he beats everybody. He beats the Stone Cold, the Takers, the Kings, the Rocks.
Well, I mean, he's a right. People didn't know about it, but what happens is when you go and you do your background. You do your background check. Like when you get older, because when you're younger, you kind of sometimes you look into the background, sometimes you don't. But when you get older, you're definitely going to look into the background to want to know more. So then when you get older, you kind of realize, you know what? It's like, yeah, it did make sense, because it's like to have this guy who was an Olympic gold medalist come in and start jobbing out to The Rock and Austin made no sense. Like it would make no sense. It would make his accomplishment of being an Olympic gold medalist not make any sense. But let me just say this real quick. If a UFC fighter does come in now, Jay, this is to go to what Jay's saying. If a UFC fighter does come in and they would have to still be booked strong, and the reason being is because most UFC fighters have a background in either jiu-jitsu or wrestling. They either take up jiu-jitsu or wrestling, and then it's either boxing or Muay Thai or kickboxing. So they use Muay Thai, kickboxing for striking, jiu-jitsu or wrestling for grappling. They have to do either or. And if this person was a world heavyweight champion in UFC, whether middleweight or world heavyweight championship, and they come into WWE, you got to give them gold. It makes no sense
unless you put them against Brock. That's the only way I can see y'all bring one of Brock's old feuds from UFC to WWE.
All right, so boom. So here's my Austin theory to combat what you said, Si.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor claimed to be, you know what I'm saying, like, of course he's world champion. He has, you know what I'm saying, he has a background in boxing. And when he fought Mayweather exposed him. Like, hey, you're a UFC fighter. You're not a boxer. You're in the wrong world. This is a different ring, brother.
Well, let me say this real quick. All right, so let me get to the comment section real quick, because Pops has some things that says. He says, yes, he is MMA. Watch versus Ortiz, talking about Jenna Jameson, classic stuff. Shale would talk you in the seat like the old school guys. He says, at least Kurt had the background, yes. And then he says, Olympic gold should speak for itself. Plus, he fit quickly with the WWE style. That is true. But when it came to Mayweather and it came to Conor McGregor did have a background in boxing. But Conor McGregor has a background in jiu-jitsu, and he probably has a background in jiu-jitsu or wrestling. He has a background in either or. He more than likely has to, because in MMA you have to have a background in grappling. They make you learn that. You have to be a grappler. You have to be at least a brown belt.
But he's better with his hands, though. Connor's better with his hands. That's why that fight with Mayweather made sense.
That is true, but nonetheless, whether he wins via TKO or a chokeout submission, the fact of the matter is the guy is a certified legit fighter. Now, mind you, Wade Barrett is a bare knuckle boxer. Like he's like a 3-time or 2-time bare knuckle boxer, like a fishy. Baron Corbin is a 2-time Golden Gloves winner. Yep. Like a fishy. Like some of these guys in WWE are fishy. But
Mark Merrill too. Don't forget about Mark Merrill.
Right, Mark Merrill. Right,
and Bart Gunn.
But if you were on
Bart
a world
Gunn,
stage,
yo, get out of here, bro.
Butterbean.
Bart Gunn. Did he get knocked out by Butterbean?
Yo,
exactly.
But listen, but it's different when you're on the world stage like Conor McGregor and you won the light heavyweight championship and the feather heavyweight championship. You were like a simultaneous champion in a legitimate sport that really wasn't predetermined. Like we're talking about wrestling that's predetermined. Now, I'm not saying that wrestling, because we know wrestling is not fake. We just know that everything's choreographed and injuries do come with the sport, because it is a sport, because you do need cardio, you do need to be in shape, and you do need to know what you're doing so that you don't hurt yourself or hurt someone else or hurt the people in the audience as well when you're performing whatever the moves you're performing. Nonetheless, we respect it. But these guys were legitimate performers who were not in a predetermined sport, who won on a world stage. For them to come to WWE to now be jobbed out or not win some level of world heavyweight gold, it would be a discredit to their legacy, because because the performance is predetermined.
Right. I'm not saying job them out. Like, I'm not. I'm saying that would be, horrible. I'm not saying job them out, but you don't have to make them dominate and be on top of their game, because again, it's like with any sport. If you have somebody that's better than you, you have to find a way to be like, all right, well, this is how I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like Rey Mysterio done fought small people like Juventud Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero. He's also fought people like Kane, Big Show. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have, so you have to, even though these guys are bigger and stronger than you, but you have to, you have to, have your niche and find your groove. And again, they're UFC fighters. They actually are fighters, but they're coming into your world. You know what I'm saying? So with them coming into your world, you have to like, all right, you're coming into my world now. Let me show you the ropes. Let me show you how this is done.
Let me ask you a question, Jay. Let me ask both of y'all a question. Let me ask you Ed a question.
I gotta ask you a question too after.
All right. Do you think that if Conor McGregor, you ain't know what I'm about to ask you, Ed. You know about to ask you. You think Conor McGregor is gonna be like, so you mean to tell me I ain't gonna have a heavyweight title until like how long? And then you want me to lose to who? You think he's gonna sign that contract?
They're gonna want him to lose to Logan Paul.
They're
gonna want him to lose to Logan Paul. I see
it. He ain't signing it, because in his mind he's like, yo, listen. He's like, yo, I competed on the world stage against legitimate tough guys who will beat this guy to a pulp in less than 5 seconds, and you want me to lose to Chad Gable? He ain't having it.
Hold on. So with me being a booker, you're Conor McGregor. Here's how I would sell it to you, right?
Jay, he ain't buying it.
listen.
Jay, I'm not buying it. As soon as you come in the office and talking about, yo, let's talk about Conor, I'm like, let's not.
No, I'm saying no. Let's just say size Conor, right? So I'm Triple H. Saheem is Conor. So I'm
Sean. I guess
you're Sean. Yeah, you're Sean. So we're in the office together. Saheem is Conor McGregor. He comes in here. Hey, Conor, what's going on? Hi, I'm Triple H. This is my mom, Sean. He runs NXT. I'm creative on the main roster. Hey, look, I got an idea for you. You know what I'm saying? So is this new up and coming guy? Chad Gable. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
this is not even going good already.
No, listen, keep going. No, keep going. Listen. So, you know what I'm saying? So, listen, we think it'll be a good idea. If you get in the ring, we'll let you dominate him. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you should dominate, but we need him to kind of go over because of the storyline. Now, we got other things in line for you, but we just need him to go over in this match. Listen, now I know rent is due. I know you're behind on your taxes. We're going to take care of that. But we just need you to do this solid for us, and we're going to hold you down. And he's not going to beat you clean. It's going to be interference, so therefore you still stay strong. But we just need him to win to keep the momentum. But we're definitely going to have other things for you where we're going to have other opportunities for you down the line. But we just need you to do it solid for us.
And I would say, why Chad Gable and why not Matt Riddle?
Well, because right now, because Riddle's in a feud right now, and right now Chad Gable is been loyal to us. We actually he's in the storyline. We want him to be the Intercontinental. We want him to actually beat Gunther, and in order for him to beat Gunther, he needs to beat a big name for it to be, you know what I'm saying, legitimized. Because if he fights Gunther now, we're gonna look at it and laugh. So if he kind of builds up this momentum when he's beating
any day, I'm gonna look at it and laugh.
Okay. So hold on. So who's who again? Am I?
You're Conor McGregor.
I'm Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
All right. How Conor got that? He got the Irish accent. He like, what the hell are you telling me this? This cocker made me bullshit. I sound Jamaican, but anyway. Like, kind of be like, what? In his mind, Connor's like, listen, because if Connor goes in it, Connor is like, this is the thing, Jay. You got the thing about it is they all have backgrounds. So Conor McGregor is actually the biggest, second to Brock. Conor McGregor is the biggest draw or the biggest purse draw in UFC history. It's I think it's Brock. Brock had one of the biggest draws. Brock was one of the biggest draws.
What about John
Brock,
Jones?
It was he was one of them too. It was Brock, Conor, and John. Those are like the biggest. I know
old boy had to be on there too. That's that white boy name. That's in the Expendables. With the cauliflower ears. What's his name?
Whatchamacallit? I know you're talking about. His name is right there.
He beat Tito. What's his name?
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
He had to be a draw.
Yeah.
Tito had to be a draw too.
Damn, I know his name.
But I know John Jones is definitely up there with Brock, bro. John Jones is bringing the numbers.
Pops Review says, love the talk. Have a good night, guys. Love the channel. Appreciate you, Pops. Appreciate you.
But if you was Conor though, and I offered you that Matt Riddle thing, y'all gonna have like a little UFC type feud, like.
Thank you, Pops. Randy Couture.
We're gonna do it on a wrestling stage though. We're gonna put an octagon in the middle of SummerSlam. Y'all gonna co-main event SummerSlam.
I'm talking about like the pit fight.
Yeah, pit fight. Like how Owen Hart and Steve Blackman did it though. We're gonna have Ken Shamrock as a special guest referee.
I think it'll be realistic. Was that real in WWE?
What, with Owen Hart and Steve Blackman?
Yeah. Nah, that wasn't real.
It looked real. It looked real. It didn't look like there was no padding in that octagon. They were suplexing the shit out of each other.
But then whatchamacallit win? Steve Blackman?
Owen Hart won that, I think.
He won that? Steve Blackman is like a legitimate, like, like see, stuff like that, Conor wouldn't go for. Like, Conor be like, what? Like, nah. Like,
Owen Hart, man, he used one of them.
If Conor's rent is due and he needs a payday and he needs a quick break, he'll do it.
His rent is far from due. Believe that.
Yeah, you never know. What was the last thing he did?
Floyd, he set for life.
Well, the thing about it is his besides what he did in UFC, when he had that match against Mayweather, he actually think Mayweather. He was like, listen, he was like, all jokes aside, aside from all the stuff I said, he was like, yo, only I have nothing but respect for this guy. He was like, this guy made me the most money in a fight that I've ever made. I think Conor made about 50 mil off that fight, or maybe more. Or hundreds.
Yeah, I think he made more. Like,
yeah, but they made, but I heard Mayweather made like close to $500 million or something like that.
He made like 300.
Yeah, and he gave Conor like 50 or like 70, something like that. He gave Conor some bread. Conor got the most money for a fight he's ever gotten, just for that fight. And they was like, "Oh, word, you gonna fight Conor McGregor? All right, we'll pay you this. This is what the money's looking like. This is what the paper because Conor Mayweather got the back end. So Conor McGregor got
his sales, Mayweather
right,
did all that.
The pay-per-view and all that went in Mayweather's pocket.
That's like the fight that just happened this past week with Garcia and Davis. Garcia was thinking tank. That was the most he made too. Both
most he made in the fight. He was like, thank you. Yeah, exactly. It was respected. So now with Conor McGregor going to WWE, it's like he not job like. Bro,
what title would you put on him? I'm not United States title.
I'm not saying he has a job. See, that's the thing. If you lose a match, that doesn't mean you're a jobber. You know what I'm saying? You just
not really lose to Chad Gable. You're done. No disrespect to Chad Gable. He's just
no disrespect.
He's a good wrestler, good tag team wrestler.
Who did Ronda lose the belt to again?
Ronda?
Becky, right? Didn't she lose to Becky? At WrestleMania, that main event.
The last time.
Liv Morgan.
The last time she lost to Liv.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and then she lost to Charlotte, right? Then she get it back from Liv and lost.
Yeah, and she barely lost. And the thing about it is, you could tell like they was like, "Yo, we gotta take this belt off her because she's no good. Like, she's not giving us anything. Like, she's not doing nothing."
Pissed her off.
It did piss her off because Ronda has no charisma.
Yeah, wrestling's not for her, bro.
It's not for her. Entertainment.
I said what I said earlier. I was just bugging out, but for her, and sports entertainment is not wrestling. Yeah, but sports entertainment is not for her.
Like when I seen
I feel like Ronda would be great with a Paul Heyman or somebody to talk for her, and she just comes out as the bully or just come beat. Not even have matches, just come beat people up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's perfect for her. Like,
can you imagine if they brought Conor? Like, say if Brock was still with Heyman, right? Imagine this scenario. Say if Brock was still with Paul Heyman and this Conor stuff popped up, and you brought Conor in with a faction with Brock and Heyman, and they just start on some 2-man power trip on both shows.
With who?
Brock and Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
2-man power trip on both shows.
That'd be crazy. But
all the UFC dudes, throw Riddle in there too. Throw all the UFC dudes in one faction.
I mean, that'd be all right, but I wouldn't be for it because they're going to dominate too hard.
That's fire though. That would be like when Bobby Lashley and MVP and all of them was in Impact and they had the beatdown plan.
Yeah, but they were like all wrestlers though.
But they got UFC background.
Wait, Kenny King had a UFC background.
No.
I never had no Kenny King had it.
No, not Kenny King. I don't think Kenny King did.
MVP had a UFC background.
I think MVP got a UFC background. I think he's a trainer or something like that.
Yeah, I think he did like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. But yeah, but I don't think Kenny King did. I don't think Kenny King did at all. Oh shoot, nah, man. I don't know. I mean, if they do that, it'd be they would want them to dominate too much.
That would be fire. We need a faction like that. Then they would take out the bloodline. Imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be overkill in my opinion because I feel like with the bloodline, it's like let them have their moment, but then eventually, somebody gonna get them. Like just let them lose, like to somebody who just has that fire to beat them, and that's it. Because sometimes
the NWO was overkill.
It was because it wasn't managed properly at one point, but in the beginning it was dope.
It was beating up everybody.
They was, but that was fire because we never seen it before. But I mean, but after a while, when everybody joined and it was just like so many members that it was just like there's nobody to wrestle because everybody joined.
There was nobody to pick on. They was picking on Tony Schiavone. Like, yo, Tony Schiavone, you gonna join or not? You and Larry Sabisco. And Bobby Heenan gonna join or not?
Word. So
nobody left.
That's what it was just like. We need to let this go. We need to let this NWO. It wasn't even that they needed to let it go. They just needed to limit it down to some members. Like, yo, just keep only the strong people here, and everybody else who just don't contribute much, like Disco Inferno. We just let it be what it's gonna be. But you got Disco Inferno joining. You had Horace Hogan.
I didn't understand the Disco. That Disco Inferno. That's when I was like, you know what? No more Wolfpack for me.
Oh shoot, Horace Hogan.
Yeah, that was crazy. Horace Hogan.
Word. That's when you knew like Hogan had all the power. When you got your irrelevant cousin who ain't never wrestled a day in his life, join your family.
That was his nephew, right?
Your nephew, right? Get $1 million checks, and it's like, yo, dog, you ain't like what? Who did you beat? Who? Why are you even in the group? Why are you here?
He was just out of nowhere. Like, ladies and gentlemen, Horace Hogan. Like, who? What?
Like, who? What? Just Hogan. Like, you like Hogan? Hogan? No, Horace Hogan.
But first they had him in the flock. That's what was crazy. He was in the flock with Raven and them carrying the stop sign.
See, now if they would have built him up, from there, like on his own, legitimately, it would have made more sense. But he was only in the flock for like, a few months, and then after that, it was just like NWO. It was like, all right, Horace Hogan is like, and he just come running out with them. Oh, there goes Hogan. Like he's a new member of the NWO, and he's like, so what? Like,
who? Hogan's nephew.
But yeah, that's Hogan's nephew. Like, yeah, but you had the booty man.
The big bad, the booty man. That was wasn't that
Beefcake? Yeah, the Beefcake, the booty man.
The booty man is crazy.
The booty man. You had the booty man. But that's when you knew it was going out. It was getting out of hand. But anyways, it's 1:41. We creeping up on 2 hours. We got to cut this short. We got to go. But you guys got any predictions for Backlash tomorrow? Jay don't seem quite excited about it at all.
I got Brock, Buddy, Kevin, Brock, Brunny, Bloodline. Who else is fighting tomorrow?
Rhea, Bianca.
Rhea, Bianca. And that's my picks. Yeah, that's the only matches, right?
I think so.
A triple threat match with Austin Theory.
Oh yeah, Austin Theory.
Oh yeah, you know my boy A-Town Down, man. A-Town Down, you know that.
And Bobby Lashley. Yeah, that's supposed to be a triple threat match.
A-Town Down. The United States title is staying on SmackDown. Wait, where's the Intercontinental Champion? Is on Raw? They got drafted to Raw?
Yeah, Imperium is on Raw.
Oh yeah, Imperium's on Raw. So yeah, that's my prediction. I don't know. No Gunther next tomorrow. That's crazy.
Oh, he's not wrestling?
I don't think so. I don't think there's an IC match.
Gunther don't have a match.
Yeah, wow.
I would rather. Yeah, I would definitely want to see him wrestle, but because what paper? No, WrestleMania was that was WrestleMania was the last pay per view we had.
That was last month. It wasn't that long ago, but he'll definitely have a match at Night of Champions.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, well, Night of Champions. Every champion's supposed to wrestle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. How does that work for the tag team champions if Sammy and Kevin is not allowed in that country?
Well,
I heard they're supposed to lose the belts. They might be losing the belts. If they give it back to the Usos, I'd be fine with that. I don't really, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care for Sammy.
Give it to Otis and Chad, man. They need to give it to the Otis and Chad Gable, man.
I think they should split up Otis and Chad. Chad needs to go solo. Chad needs to be. They should split him up solo, and have Chad as Kurt Angle's like protege. That'd be.
You don't remember the last time Chad was solo? Shorty G.
Or the last time Kurt Angle had a protege. I'm sorry, his son Jason Jordan, who's now producing. So I don't want to do that to Chad. He's too important.
I want to be dad. I want to be champion, dad. I want to be champion so bad. I'm trying my best, man. It was just like he was so. Jason Jordan needed development, but he had potential though. He just needed to stay with American Alpha a little bit longer. That's what it was. They just pushed him too early.
Right.
Vince pushed him way too early. Way too early. He wasn't The Rock. The Rock already had the machismo and had the
I sent y'all the video of the funny moment of The Rock when he was with the Nation.
Nah.
I think I sent it to the group. I'm gonna send it to y'all personally. It was hilarious. It was like because Michael Hayes was interviewing the Nation. He was like, yeah, the Nation, you guys dominated. It seems like it's some dissension between the Nation. So I'm saying let's get it from the leader. So Rock took the mic. He was like, yeah, The Rock thinks Phil and Farouk took the mic from him. I had to kick your ass right now. He said, listen. He said, ain't nothing wrong with it. And so as Farouk is talking, Rock is doing all these gestures and funny. Rock's like, I'm the champ. Yo, I'm gonna send it to you. Yo, every time I watch it, I'd be laughing. I'm like, yo, I was too young to really notice it then, but looking back on it, I'm like, yo, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. The Rock go back and forth with Farouk, stealing his thunder.
Yo, sorry, you didn't get WWE yet?
Nah, I ain't get it yet. I'm gonna get it though.
Yo, man, get on the game after the show, bro.
Yeah, I got you. I be on the plane, so I gotta get on there so we can.
Yeah, me and May be having some classic matches. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Do when Jay loses, does he resort to Triple H?
He doesn't pick Hunter yet.
Nah, I used him one time.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, he won with her. He won with her.
He won?
Roll up.
Yeah, he go use it again. He go like he not gonna use it again.
He beat me with a roll up side, a schoolboy pin.
Yeah. When Jay pick Triple H, he gonna go hard.
Yo, he hit me with like 8 pedigrees. I'm kicking out of him, but he wins with a roll up. I'm like, yo, what?
Oh my god. He's like, all right. The most devastating move in sports entertainment, roll up.
Exactly.
All right, guys. You guys can catch us as we go live every week. Hit the subscribe button so you guys can catch the notification every time we go live. We are signing off. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment in the comment section below if you guys are catching the replay. We are signing off. I am your host, Saheem the Dream.
And it's the protege, J McMean.
And it's the big bad booty daddy. Rolling.
You already know the vibes, man. Shout out all my freaks out there, man. Big Papa Pumps your hookup.
I'll let you in. And we will see you.
Hey, get on the game. Get on the game.